this is? Nelson, yeah, absolutely. So apparently, as the story goes, Saunders and Nelson used to roam around the lands of Gunton Hall. It was Saunders that taught Nelson how to shoot for rabbits, but Nelson used to terrify everyone around him with his useless shooting skills. That's how the story goes. Now, I've done a little bit more research to see if I can find anything about Nelson being here. I can't find anything just yet, but I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that I can, because, you know, how amazing would that be if, you know, Nelson was actually here on the estate. Now, Sir Charles Saunders died in 1775. He actually died in his London home, but this is the plaque to his memory in Westminster Abbey. Now, Sir Charles Saunders didn't have any sons, so the halls got passed down to his nieces and then their daughters, and then it got sold off in the year of 1802 to the Fowler family. Now, this is my favourite picture from the presentation. Isn't it such a Downton Abbey photograph? I absolutely love it. Anyone watch Downton Abbey? Yeah, I love Downton Abbey. And it gives you a really good idea what these sort of families went through over the years. And I know it's only sort of a made-up series, but it's a really good example because this family went through kind of the same thing. You know, they had to end up selling off parts of their land. They had a cottage hospital on site. And I'll show you a picture of that a bit later as well. These are the Fowler family. They got most of their fortune through farming. A couple of them had a really big interest in photography, and very early on as well. So that kind of showed how much money that they had. And what this picture is from the collection of photographs that has actually ended up in the Ipswich Record Office. There was about 3 or 4 photograph albums, all from this family, and these photos have been kept for years and years and years, and this is one of the photographs from that album. So I do need to go down to the Ipswich Record Office and have a look for more photographs and see if I can put any more in this presentation for you. Now this is what the old hall, we're still talking about the old hall in the Woodland area, this is what it ended up looking like. So very different from that first ever hand-drawn picture I showed you at the beginning. The left-hand side area is the picture that was drawn at the beginning, and then Hugh Luton apparently made some improvements to the hall as the years went on. Obviously it ended up being a very impressive country family home. Now, to do with the land, the Fowler family actually sold the north part of their land off to a man called J. Coleman, who's responsible for Coleman's mustard. They sold off some of their land, which was now turned into sort of housing estates, although it was sold to the council to be turned into housing estate. And they also sold off to the council the beach area. Now they did this with 2 rules, one being that you're not allowed to ride a horse along the beach, and the second is that you're not allowed to build on the beach. Now, cut to a couple of years ago, we had a company in Lowestoft, or we still have, called Team Dean Holiday Parks, and they actually put some planning permission into the council to ask if they could build static caravans and holiday homes on that beach area. And their planning permission actually got turned down because when they bought the land, they weren't actually allowed to build on it. So the Fowler family are really still shaping Gunton and Lowestoft even today, so that's really lovely to see. This is a picture that I actually found on Facebook of all places of in the background. I'm not sure if they're the old cottages, I'm pretty sure it probably would have been, or whether it used to be part of the old hall, but the cottages used to be next to the hall, and the cottages were turned into a cottage hospital during World War I. I love this photograph. I love the little dog at the bottom with the Union Jack flag on him. He's very charming. But it was King George V, actually, he came down to Lowestoft in 1918, and he actually even visited this hospital as well. Now, I'm going to show you a clip of a film that I found. Before I go and tell you more about this hall that we're sitting in today and the history of that, I just wanted to show you a clip of this film. This film is called Reach for Glory, and it can be found on YouTube. And it was an independent film. It was filmed in 1962, so it was filmed a year before the old hall got demolished. Now, the film is about these 2 young lads, and they want to join the army, but on this day they're sort of roaming around in the woodland area, and they come across this abandoned house, and they ended up calling that their secret hideout, and that secret hideout is actually our old Gunton Hall. So we were actually, the hall was actually used as part of the film set. As you can see in the clip I'm now about to show you, the hall's really not in very good state of repair. because it was only a year before the old hall got demolished. But it gives you a good idea of what the old hall used to look like. And I apologise for no sound with this as well, but I hope you knew it.